good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode on your boy, the Crack Babies channel. Welcome back. Sit back, relax, open a White Claw if you like, and let's react to a video.
I want to include them because they are a part. They're a part of the conversation about. Did you just say trans people are messed up?
Yeah, they're like abnormal. You know, like they've been traumatized. Why would you not identify what a real woman is? Because people who are confused about who they are might be offended when you might be able to help them by really identifying what a woman is and what a man is, and they may think about it and overcome their traumas.
That makes sense?
Did you just say real women?
Yes.
Right.
So you think that there are women that aren't real women?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you were born with male genitals, you're a man.
What?
A lesbian.
A lesbian's not a
or
real
transgender.
woman?
Do you think men
I don't agree with lesbians, but
take off the body parts
yeah,
and put on women body parts, you know, like breasts and all that, and put on dresses? Are they women or are they still are they women or are they still men?
Sorry, ask the question again.
You know how there are transgenders?
Uh-huh.
Let me do this. Transgenders now, and they're confused about their identity. So you heard of Bruce Jenner, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all know Bruce is a man. Well, he took off the body part. Where you
oh
going?
my God, she's
I'm
walking
leaving.
off.
Why are you leaving?
Because
What?
what you're saying is extremely offensive, and I'm not going to sit here
What?
for it.
Come and tell me why.
Nope.
You're running?
He was born Bruce Jenner. I'm sorry.
But I thought you were.
An actual incident that happened to. I have two boys, 11 and 13 years old. This actually happened to my eldest son, who's in grade 8. He was in the schoolyard playing. A grade 1 girl walked up to him, slapped him across the head, and said, "You are not allowed to hit girls. You cannot hit me back."
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to.
Well, at least she was being honest. You know, and an adult woman who would do that would probably find a way to turn herself into the victim. So,
Two parts here. One, I wanted to share this actual event. I have found that my boys are having a real difficulty at school.
Yeah.
Very inhospitable.
Mm-hmm.
My eldest.
Violence is violence. I don't care what your gender is. Violence is violence. And if you attack someone else, you deserve to be punished. I don't care what your gender is. Again, or race. Violence is violence and you deserve to be punished. That's it.
Has been targeted by a number of events that actually, one of them led to a criminal charge based on false information.
Mm-hmm.
But the question I have for you is,
sickening, man.
What can parents, what can boys do to avoid being trapped in this condition? Like, what should my son have done?
you know, the really horrible thing is what I told my son. He was about 6, and they'd plowed the parking lot at the complex where I live, and they'd piled up all of this packed chunks of snow, right, all in a big pile at the end of the parking lot. And he was up there with a girl from the neighborhood when he should not have been, and she tried to push him off.
What does that mean?
And this is a fairly tall, about 10 feet tall pile of snow, right? And so he skidded down, right, sort of on his bum, right, hurt himself a little bit, and then he threw a piece of this snow up at her because he was mad, right? And I think he had every right to be mad.
Yeah.
And when he came in and he told me about it, he was really upset because he was scared that he was going to get really seriously hurt. And I actually told him, right, you be really, really careful what you do when you're around girls, because I still might get her mother at my door, right, to give me heck for you throwing that at her daughter.
But she pushed him down a 10-foot tall snowbank. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense. Of course he's angry. He's 6 years old. He's 6 years old. That doesn't make any sense. That mother should teach her daughter not to push kids down 10-foot tall snowbanks. That's it.
Like, it's not fair. It's just not, right?
It
you have
can
to be aware of what other people are going to think. I know she was in the wrong. you know she was in the wrong. But any outsider coming...
That's it. So she's wrong. So she needs to be punished. You should take your son to that girl's mother. That's what it should be. You shouldn't let her come to you. You should go to her.
Is going to assume that you were the aggressive one, that you were in the wrong. And it's just a fact of life that you're going to have to deal with until we can figure out a way to change it. I mean, like, that's the really sad thing, is that you just have to disabuse your kid at age 6 of any sense of fairness or justice, right? Or equal treatment. You have to tell him. You know, I mean, like, that little girl who hit your son, it's the most honest thing she could say. I mean, everything she said was true.
What do you mean? She should be punished. That doesn't make any sense. She should be punished. That doesn't make any sense. Because if that little boy would have hit her back, he's in trouble now. He's now in trouble, and she's not going to get in any trouble. She should absolutely get in trouble. It's the same thing with false rape allegations or any of those, like sexual assault, any of those allegations. Like, you absolutely should have evidence, and the police should investigate. And then if that person is found to be guilty, then please definitely prosecute and put that person in jail. But if they're innocent, then that person should be innocent, and the person that brought false accusations up against that person should be put in jail and should serve the same sentence that person potentially could have served. That doesn't make any sense. That's literally against the law. It's perjury.
Yeah, what astounded me is I wondered, how would a 6-year-old child learn this concept?
Oh, they know. They know.
No, they don't.
They see domestic violence.
No.
Commercials too, and and it's never okay to hit a woman, and
it's not okay to hit anyone. No one should be hit.
Their brother was, poking them, or you don't hurt girls, right? I mean, like, or their mom. It's just it's pervasive. We teach our values to our kids. I mean, like, my dad, the only time he ever raised his voice with me was when I wasn't respecting my mother. So.
Thank you, Karen.
Thanks.
That doesn't make any sense.
Sorry. Hi. First of all, I want to address. I'm a Ryerson student.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to address that. It's funny that you called Naomi Wolf a feminist when she's actually a rape apologist, and basically blamed the victims of Julian Assange's rape. So she's actually not really a feminist at all.
Who? She says she's a feminist, and
she says she is, but she's a rape apologist.
I don't know about that. Being skeptical is not rape apology.
Okay.
It isn't.
You also said that men deserve a safe space on campus, but I would have to say that every space in society is actually a safe space for men. Men don't get catcalled when they walk down the street.
So?
I'm sorry, whenever I'm an openly gay student, whenever I fucking walk down the street, people yell at me, okay? Why? Because men like to catcall.
That's bad. Don't catcall women. There's nothing else that you should say. That doesn't make any sense. The men should deserve a safe space if women have a safe space. If people have a safe space, then and you're calling for equality, then we deserve a safe space. If that's what you want, and we're not even asking for it like that. If the kids want a safe space to study on campus, they deserve that. If you got a safe space, then other kids deserve a safe space. That doesn't make any sense.
If I wear a short skirt, I get harassed when I walk down the street.
All right.
No, they're not good. And saying
you just agreed. You just said they're not good.
No, women deserve a safe space on campus. Queer people deserve a safe space on campus. Trans people deserve a safe space on campus.
And so do men.
You mean why do men need a safe space on campus?
Why do men need a safe space? Because the very idea of an event where men are talking about men's issues in a non-sanctioned manner, right, by the powers that be, right? In other words, they don't have feminists puppeting them, right, pulling their strings, telling them what to say, okay, or they don't have feminist ideology to do it, okay? When that happens, then you have what happened at the Warren Farrell protest. I don't know if you watched the footage of that. Right? But if I were one of the men who was trying to attend an event talking about male suicide and all kinds of other stuff, and I had some woman who knows she can get away with it up in my face, calling me every name in the book, screaming at me, I don't think I'd feel very safe.
No, absolutely not. Right? Exactly. I absolutely agree. That doesn't make any sense. I completely agree. That doesn't make any sense why men don't deserve a safe space if all those other groups deserve a safe space. That absolutely makes sense, and I do agree with that.
Okay? And frankly, men are the majority of victims of public sphere violence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that any of those statistics or male suicide, any of that stuff exists, because it does. Men are the victims of more workplace violence, workplace suicides, low enrollment rates. That said, that's not systematic oppression in society.
Really?
How is that not?
I think that when a 6-year-old girl can hit another child and get away with it,
Yeah.
and never ever have to suffer retaliation because he's a boy,
Which is not right.
okay,
Which is not right.
I think that's systematic.
How?
How? Because if the system intervenes and punishes the boy for hitting back, right? It's systematic.
Because we hear the same argument. What, you're saying that it should be okay to hit women? Nobody should be hitting anybody
Nobody
in the
should.
first place.
Exactly.
Hit
Nobody
back.
should be
You
hitting
can hit
anyone.
Why
back.
is feminism
You shouldn't
saying
go for
okay
that.
for a woman to hit a man?
What?
Why is feminism saying okay to hit a man?
Feminism does not say that it's okay to hit
Okay.
a man.
Thank you for the questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Get her out of there. Get her out of there, man. Starting arguments.
Appreciate the questions and the conversation.
Hi. So, I was
Jesus, man.
wondering, I watched a couple of your videos where you spoke at other universities, and I was wondering what you thought about the term that many feminists use, empowered women empower women, considering that I watched a lot of your videos, and a significant portion of it had to do with criticizing safe spaces and trigger warnings, which a lot of people find empowering.
What?
We'll do trigger warnings, and then we'll do. Do you mind if I do microaggression instead of safe space? Okay.
Why are you asking?
Several psychologists have tried to find evidence that they're effective. And I think it was Richard McNally at Harvard.
What is a microaggression? I don't understand that still. It doesn't make any sense. Like, what is that? Tell me what that is, please. What the hell is a microaggression? It doesn't make any sense.
Looked at the data on trigger warnings and just
And
couldn't
what does it
find
do?
any evidence that this was effective. And if people are traumatized, they don't know what's going to trigger them. It's unpredictable.
Yeah.
And one of the worst things you could do is completely insulate them from the world. That if someone's traumatized by something, you kind of gradually give them little by little exposure. You don't isolate.
Exposure therapy is a thing. You wouldn't want to isolate from your biggest fear. Like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. It's not good for an agoraphobic person to stay inside their entire life. That doesn't make any sense. You got to expose yourself to things you're afraid of. If you're afraid of getting on camera, get on camera a little bit. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Isolating yourself from your fears, because then they're just gonna have power over you your entire life. That doesn't make any sense. I don't agree with that. I agree with what she's saying, but I don't agree with isolating yourself if you're afraid of something. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, I definitely understand. I'm afraid of spiders, dude. Your boy over here doesn't like spiders, all right? I'm afraid of it, but sometimes you gotta kill a spider because it's in your house, and you got a girlfriend, and she ain't killing that spider, so you gotta do it. And I'm better for it. I mean, now I can kill spiders without freaking out, but you just gotta expose yourself. Not like that.
The other thing that Richard McNally said is that a lot of people have traumas and don't get PTSD. There's something called post-traumatic growth. It's not always that you're disabled, psychologically shattered. People are very resilient. So what he found was that this was actually a political phenomenon. It was not anything. He could not find data that showed trigger warnings help people.
Did this researcher experience something?
That does, yeah. Like, how would if they're saying, oh, trigger warning, isn't that person still gonna get triggered if they watch the video? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Saying, oh, trigger warning, you're gonna get triggered. Oh, you're gonna get triggered. Like, how does that help? How does that help? Because if you're saying, oh, people are gonna get triggered by this, then people are still then people are expecting to get mad. They're just expecting the anger to come, and that's not helping the situation at all.
Traumatizing?
What?
Did this researcher experience a traumatic situation? Have you experienced a traumatic situation?
A tragic situation?
Traumatic, in order to know that it wouldn't bother you?
I don't have to talk about my own experience to know.
Yeah, what the hell?
That other people don't need this.
Look, whatever I've experienced, I would want to know if that, maybe it's just me, maybe this is my reaction, and maybe other people are different. So you do want to have someone
Everyone is different.
to look at a representative sample of the population and see what's going on. He could not find, he doesn't rule out trigger warning. He just said there's no evidence that these are helping people. Now, as a professor, I never gave trigger warnings. It was before that time, and I look back, I can't imagine it. But if someone, I think students, if you are
trigger warnings are new. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand that. Like, if you feel like you need to put a trigger warning in the beginning of your video, by all means, do that. But you shouldn't have to force everyone to put a trigger warning in front of everything. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like Disney putting a trigger warning in front of a movie because there used to be racism or there's something tragic happens. That doesn't make any sense. Like, just like let us be triggered. Let people. You have to feel your feelings.
If you see what we're going to study, you say, "I'm not going to be in class that day." I of course would understand that. I hope every professor would. But
okay,
yeah.
If you have to think about everything on your syllabus, and am I going to upset someone? That's really going to undermine education.
Yeah.
So you should only think about something.
Yes, that's going to undermine education, absolutely. If you think everything is going to trigger your students so you don't put it in your syllabus, that's holding back knowledge that person could potentially use to further their life. That doesn't make any sense. Why? Like, that's counterintuitive. That's counterproductive. We're not teaching. You're not learning. Why are you spending $250,000 to go to college if you're not learning? If every professor is going to start taking bits and pieces out of their syllabus because people are going to get sad and worried and mad over it. That doesn't make any sense.
Your syllabus.
You shouldn't. What are you saying?
You said you should think about something.
I think about teaching healthy people, and which I assume most people are. And if someone's not, they should let me know. But if look, life is not going to come with a trigger warning. When you get on this campus, there will not be trigger warnings. Huh? No, it's not. It's not. It's a very unsafe space.
Nobody gave me a trigger warning when they gave me the news that my dad had passed away. That, like, exactly what she just said. There is no trigger warning for life. You're going to get angry. You're going to get upset. You're going to disagree. That is just life. That's how life has been lived forever. You think animals like being eaten? You think they'd like a trigger warning before a predator comes and eats them? Absolutely. Absolutely. It would be a lot easier to live outside in the wild if everybody got a trigger warning before they got eaten.
Don't you want safe spaces for free speech?
Space for reason, for debate, for open discussion.
Yes, open discussion. Yes.
You don't. If college.
Bam. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this reaction. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe, share this with all your friends, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Until the next time, peace out.